Wait for the recording. Yes, recording started. Hi everyone, this is Karthik from iTeLearn. Selenium live project. That is what we're kind of working on right now. This was the Selenium live training in the morning. It's Alt FS and then I control new Selenium live project. And team, we've been having a lot of sessions on this. So we'll have to take action, and I'm sure with good participation, we'll do some amazing project work. There are notes from the previous thing that I've asked I don't know where it is. Does anyone have notes from my previous session? I believe I did it from a different machine, or I'll quickly search SLP. Oh, then this is day 2. I think I have SLP day 1. Cool. So control O. Let me see if they're all here. SLP day 1. Let's open this and see. Wow, cool. Yep. This is what I did. And I'll explain all this again. But before I do that, let me kind of step back. So some of you, just to introduce who we are and what we do as a team. My name is Karthik and I represent iTeLearn. I've been doing training on automation testing for the last 10 years. I started with qtp, HP Quick Test Professional, and then added on Selenium. And my focus while teaching has always been in terms of how do we effectively build automation solutions, more importantly, frameworks. So team, once you go to iTeLearn.com and you look at our online courses under Selenium, you will see plenty of videos and content that you can go through. These videos go in a very structured way, and they'll give you all the knowledge and skill that is required for you to work on a live project. Now, what is this live project and how did it come to be? First and foremost thing is, okay, this is there. I'll talk in word stream and then I'll write it in the document. First and foremost thing, when you go through training, when I'm teaching, the primary expectation that we will have is that the students go back and practice, get hands-on. Why team? Because a lot of programming, coding, concepts, how do we visualize, all this comes into play when it comes to automation testing, right? So it is extremely important for you to be able to practice hands-on during the training. Now, once that is done, how do you get projects that you can put on your resume? That is very critical, team. If you don't have projects that you can put on resume, people will not hire you for the skill you're getting trained, and all your training is going waste. So we built this program called JPACT team, Job Placement and Certified Training, about 3-4 years back, and we run this as a large program. The primary difference between JPACT and our regular core training at iTeLearn is, I'm going to quickly walk you through that once the page loads, and I'm going to show you 2 more websites before I give you a synopsis of what is still expected and what the next actions are. And Venkat will start sharing the screen for the Google Drive. All right, cool. So JPACT, as it stands, Job Placement and Certified Training Program team. We are looking very actively on how we can get your disqualified students to get positioned at various client places. So this entire program is built on these 4 steps. The first one, the core training that is here, all right, this core training team is the one where you learn your skill, like Selenium live training, or let's say Catalan, or you just attended Java training. Certifications and live projects is something that you need that you can put on your resume. Either you're certified professional with certain skill set, or you have that working experience that is shown in your project work. That, how do you get it? And that's what these live projects are all about. Post which we talk a lot about finishing and grooming. Here is where your profile has to be tweaked. Your social presence in LinkedIn and other professional networks has to be really showcased. We need to make sure that you are well prepared for interviews with enough mock interviews conducted internally. And we start pushing you through some of these opportunities that we get or in the open market and help you get placed. And that becomes the last step, where we assist in the job placement and work support. The word work support is primarily once you start work, lot of members want that first 6 months, 1 year kind of an assistance, that confidence that yes, I have a capable team which can guide me through my as I continue to evolve as an automation developer. So JPACT is an all-inclusive program team. So a lot of members come for live project training, then upgrade to live projects, and then into JPACT and so on. This is the program that we've built, and we're doing the 7th batch, I believe, which is just starting now. And pretty intense how people involve. It's a 2 to 3 months program. If you're someone a little bit more newer into software testing or IT, then JPACT is the program for you. Now going back to iTeLearn and focusing on Selenium. So what I was mentioning, plenty of contents to look at from a video tutorials and live trainings that are there in iTeLearn, sufficiently enough for you to really master Selenium team. Between Shankar and I, we have covered almost all possible topics that you will find. So you can explore, go to Selenium, look at the latest batches, look at the topics, look at some of the concept-based videos, and you should be able to easily get through any gaps that you have in your skill set. All right. Now, iTeLearn as an organization or as a brand is represented under my organization called Varkasa. Varkasa is an organization that I've incorporated in the United States, and we basically focus on software test automation. We do set up offshore test labs. We do consulting in test automation, primarily on tools like Selenium, mostly on Selenium team. That's where our core focus has been. So when we go into the outside world, we don't represent as iTeLearn. We represent ourselves as Varkasa to corporates and say, this is what we do. One of the flagship products that we brought as part of Varkasa that will be very, very prominently important for you as well through this live project is called AnyAuth. As the name kind of implies, it is any automation, or how can we automate any application under test. This tool platform that we've been building for the last 3 years is primarily pretty powerful because we have put in few things together, team. It is powered using Selenium, and your backend is core Java. So a lot of reusable libraries and keyword libraries, a lot of utility programs that we had to write in the background. The concept is hybrid framework. We put in the page object, data driven and keyword driven, both, all three of them packed into it. And what we did is we created an idiot proof UX. What this means is, instead of fumbling around at a coding level like typical automation implementations, I said, why don't we create a good web-based UI where the users can go and create tests like manual users, like manual QA engineers with no knowledge of automation. Just one element identification. If they know how to identify, they're as good as it. The other thing we wanted to ensure that comes into AnyAuth was zero code changes. So all the code, all the technology went into the back end of it. And finally, there are reports that come to the test engineers who execute and maintain this test to say how these regressions have happened. All this has been plugged into AnyAuth, so we go and talk on a very, very deep level constantly with organizations using this platform team. And the two certifications that we've created are on AnyAuth. There's an AnyAuth certified tester program, and there's an AnyAuth certified developer. Tester is someone who knows to use this application. It's like a simple test management front end. A developer knows the backend engine that is built on Selenium and Java. So with these two certifications, there is a strong presence that you could put onto your resume. Now, this is our story team, and this is where a lot of our project works are coming. Some clients I can mention to you the names, some I cannot. Why can I not mention some clients' names? Because what happens is, as soon as I mention the client name, and if the client is not aware that you are working with them on this project, and if they get a reference check to them, they will deny it, and we will be in trouble, all of us. So we should not. Lot of clarity, team. If you give me a schedule, yes, Karthik, here are my available hours. Here is my skill set. I would love to start on an internship project. Then I'll get the NDA signed with you all. Ensure that you start to represent the client. get you set up with all that is needed. You have to be doing work from home unless you're doing it from the Hyderabad office or the LA. That is highly possible. So multiple options on how you can involve into our organization activities. Now, notes from the day one that we did the last session, I'll quickly go through them, 5 minutes only, and then I'll hand it over to Venkat so you can show the Google Drive how we are organizing the team. Some of you may not be in it right now, but you might be getting into it. All right, great. So automation frameworks team, that is what I spoke in the day one. The reason I said is if you do not know automation frameworks, there's nothing you can do in this live project a lot. Yes, you can contribute as a manual test engineer or a basic developer, but knowing frameworks is very critical team. What is your level of knowledge on frameworks team, each of you? Sorry team, I went on mute. I launched a poll right on your screen. Would request you all to take a couple of seconds and fill it up, please. Very simple. When I'm saying Selenium, you can also include automation frameworks as part of it, please. And there's only yes or no question. Sorry, there's nothing in between. It just trying to understand where you are, team, compared to the others in the audience. Team, I've got 70% votes in. I'll request the remaining few who have not been attentive. Actually, all of you are attentive in the session. I can see that in GoToWebinar. Primarily, when you switch between screens, if you're not seeing what I'm presenting, then GoToWebinar tells me that you're not attentive. Team, I've got 80% votes in. I'm going to close the poll and share it quickly with you all. Pretty glad to see this. More than two-thirds, or actually almost two-thirds of you are pretty comfortable on Selenium. That's great. That's really good to know, team. And for the same two-thirds of you, 63% of you were comfortable on Selenium. If there are any gaps, trust and believe in me in this. This live project will fill every gap. You will really master. For those of you not yet, do not leave or quit this project team. Participate. There are a lot of activities that we need to do as part of a live project. Automation plan preparations are there. We have to do test case creations. We have to do test executions. We have to do defect reporting, retesting. There are multiple things. So please continue to be involved. Thank you so much for the polls. I think I'll take one more question, team. Where are you from? I think most of you will be from the United States, a few from maybe India and subcontinents. I'm not asking that. This is a nice question, team. I've seen a lot of members repeat projects with iTeLearn. Some have taken even 6 to 7 projects through the last decade of association with us. So team, another question. Have you ever been part of an earlier Selenium Live project? Even if it is for 2-3 sessions, maybe drop out, maybe you finished it, but have you been associated with it? Not just demos team, where you started to work on the project, but you did it or you didn't do it. All right, I've got again about 75%, 80% votes in. Can I quickly close this? 85% everyone, and I'll share it with you all. I'm closing this poll now, team. Thank you. All right, 85% votes, and I'm sharing this. So that's good. Almost 30% of you have been part of our earlier Selenium Live projects. That's good. 70% no. So a lot of introduction to you. Team, it is going to be extremely involving. You'll be very excited. You will go through a lot of learning in these projects. We will keep guiding you as we go on. Now, let me hide this and talk about what we discussed about automation frameworks briefly, and we'll talk a little bit about this project also. So we started with mentioning all different types of frameworks: linear framework, simple, take a script, one test case, put it in, run it, hard code data, everything there, not too much, it'll still run, but it's not effective enough. Then comes functional decomposition, where you break down your functionality of your application into certain modules or reusable function calls like methods. So you call and say, let's say for example login or transfer balance, or let us say move inventory, anything that has multiple steps but pretty frequently reusable, you modularize them. Data driven framework, very simple. Applications, certain of them require the same scenario to be tested with changing sets of test data. For example, a currency converter or a stock market on how fluctuations are happening in analysis, statistical models where we're talking about projections or numbers. Anywhere you see numbers team are key for it. Let us say even a weather department or a health industry, where you have to test to see, drug industry, research industry, where you want to play around and see what happens to my application when my data changes. That how we build that framework is your data driven framework. Sorry team, I have pretty bad voice today. All right, so that is something that we'll be doing in the all these things team is something we keep doing in our live trainings, and also the of course videos which get stored later. So if you don't know of any of this, pick up one. You'll see the projects divided accordingly. You can go through them very easily. And see, I also mentioned how long it will take to learn each of them. 2 hours here, 1 hour here, 3 hours for data-driven framework. Next comes keyword-driven framework. What is the primary difference, team, in keyword-driven framework and data-driven? What we try and do is we understood that applications have a lot of functionality features, right? And you break these applications down into, let us say, modules, and each module again you break them down into sub modules or directly test scenarios or test cases, and each one finally test steps. Now a typical application, let us say as complex as Zillow, may have, oh my goodness, 10,000 test cases, maybe a little bit overkill, maybe 5,000, let us say. Now, I was saying that keyword driven framework, yes. In these 5,000 test cases, we can very surely ascertain that there's a certain percentage, maybe 20%, maybe 40%, which is constantly reused. Things like login, things like search for home, things like property things. So certain times you get the opportunity to club multiple steps into keywords and say, when I call this, we have to have this action has to happen. Sorry. So what is the use of it? My test case writing becomes faster. I can create tests faster. With data-driven framework, I may be running tests faster because I'm running it against multiple sets of data, sometimes parallelly also. So, but keyword-driven framework will help you create tests faster and also maintain them much better. Sorry, team. The last one, which has become very popular recently, is a page object model or page factory. There are two basic things that this model does. One is it looks at your elements and how to identify them and stores them either in Java classes or in external XML anywhere or any other database. And it takes the methods that can be associated with those objects or those elements and again does the same. And primarily, your coding then looks like homepage dot user name dot type, and then I'll give Karthik in quotes, and that becomes my input. Your code looks to be much more English like, and it is easier for non-developers to look at and quickly take one line from here, add it, edit it, and so on. But so before you get to use and write such test cases which look English like, you have to create this page factory at the backend, where you go through every page, identify all the elements that you need to automate, store them, understand what methods we can run on them, get those words properly structured together, either complicate them using Java classes or put them nicely stored in a database and call them. And these models together somewhere fit into an implementation where we have a custom solution and we create hybrid automation frameworks. All right, team. So that is primarily what I went through in the beginning. Yes, see, my name is Karthik. That's true. Now let's talk about day one SLP, what we went through. What I meant is that, listen, expectations for participating in SLP. What is it that I am expecting from all of you? Selenium IDE, good knowledge, WebDriver, commands, how WebDriver interacts with different browsers, how you got to get all the driver, your Chrome drivers, your Gecko drivers, and set them up, those kind of settings, how you work with your implicit weights, all the kind of your WebDriver commands. Element identification is very critical, team, and also the different commands that are there in your WebDriver. You got to know your coding very well, team. There's no question about it. And it's not complicated. We're not trying to become A-class Java developers right now. We're trying to be amazing automation developers who has good programming knowledge. All right. Automation frameworks key. CI/CD tools is something that you will hopefully get exposed to as you go deeper into these projects teams. All right. And the goal for SLP was very simple, team. I wanted you all to sit down and start creating a hybrid framework from scratch. Data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, page factory and page object model combined into one. How do we do that? How do we conceptualize that? I want you to think through and come up with a model. That is the whole project all about. Regarding that, we made some progress as where do we start? What are the first steps and few things? Venkat, if you can now be the presenter uh, and share that, that'll be great.
Yeah, sure, Karthik. I will
Make
share.
you the presenter.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, perfectly. And
I
also
think,
open up a bit of
yes.
notes in the background which you have, the minutes of meetings of any of them that you have. You can share it with the team what we had so far.
Yeah,
Some of
sure.
the. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, team. My name is Venkat. I am a QA lead at Varkasa. So I will be coordinating with you for the project activities. Hope all of you can see my screen. This is the folder which will be shared by you. Ashna is working on clubbing the members for both morning and evening batches. If anyone is missed, you will get notification by few hours. If you doesn't get any shared link for you, please drop an email to learn@iTeLearn.com. These are the members list which are here. Teams are divided based on the time zone.
Kindly do
For
not show email addresses. I know everyone are project members only. You'll all have access to it. Be very conscious in how you communicate with the teams, please. So any phone numbers or email ID columns, just hide it, please.
yeah, sure.
It is when we're showcasing. Thank you. Are you on mute, Venkat?
No, Karthik, I am.
All right.
Teams will be formed based on the time zones. Each team will, based on the strength, each team will be divided 5 to 6 members. There may be dropouts in between. So maximum, please, all the members try to attend and involve the project actively. If you see here, there is template shared for start working on the project. Karthik has clearly mentioned how to proceed. So you can, this is the application test. You can
Yeah,
mention
so
the
I'll
team.
add a couple of points on this, Venkat. So,
Yes.
team, for those of you who are newer into the live project, maybe you're not aware, but primarily for you now to build that hybrid framework, I use this template of Excel sheet where we will enter our, dummy data, dummy test cases to see if our framework is working correctly or not. It is absolutely in line with Eniot as a template, and you'll understand more and more about it. There is probably maybe we'll have one of the sessions, or one of the project team members who have understood this template can volunteer to walk us through. And team, remember this, in the live project, Venkat and I will speak very little. We would love to hear your voices, the confident voices, the same thing that you will showcase in the interviews. When you get to an interview, you're going to talk about your project. And with that excitement, with that same energy and passion, we want you to keep presenting. So one of you should volunteer from the existing teams to be able to walk us through in detail for the others who are not sure yet. Sure, Venkat. So you can just briefly talk about the sheets that we have, not columns, and then we can go on. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Respective team divisions will have their respective folders. Right now, there are two folders on the name of Pirates and Spirits. More will be added as based on the strength. And yeah, day session notes will be also available over here. Some of the team members has started working. You can see here, they started recording on stand-up meetings. Started writing the test cases, test tips, test steps. These are other team members. Other team member has worked.
Very nice. Anyone from these teams is participating in this session right now? Spirits or Spirates? See, I like the way
Only
colors are done. Very
yes,
nicely named, organized. I think there's
pirates.
one belly.
Yes, pirates are bit active. Three members are active from the pirates team.
Pirates, yeah. I see belly there. So, and they seem to be going at a good pace, just letting you know. Because the current members are coming on board to the live project, and some of our evening batch members have already made progress. If there's too much gap, then we will keep it as two separate projects, or we will have our evening batch team kind of volunteer and give the updates to the morning team once on what they have done, what is the story so far, and where they're going. One session now. If they can do that, then we can easily catch up with this project, with this team as well. So Venkat, definitely one KT session from the current team members to all of us. If we're missing it, we will record it. And
Sure.
that's fine, team. If people are working in different zones, that's fine. We'll go through those
Okay.
challenges later. we have to get the project works done. Sorry,
Yeah,
thank you,
sure.
Venkat.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik. I think once
Venkat,
the
okay, sorry.
yes, Karthik.
Sorry, I thought you were on mute because you didn't speak for a while. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Once the list is updated, please update incomplete details, fill all the details for forming the WhatsApp and Skype groups for your internal communication. Please do have regular interactions with the team members. From our side, will be coordinating with you. We will only twice a week. So you people have to interact each other and work together. All the files will be shared on the Google Drive. Please don't delete, add other team members files on the drive. So which is very important. Please refer the Karthik notes, previous session's Karthik notes. So follow the instructions as per Karthik. You can plan the sprints as well. You can conduct a daily status reporting, which I have shared one of the team pirates as daily stand-up meeting they have mentioned. You can note it, the daily stand-up meeting notes. Minutes of meeting will be updated on the folder. You can go through this as well, what to be done, action items on daily basis. You can see here what are the action items for particular day. So it is still open. So you please work out on the same. I think all these things Karthik has covered in the first session. In there may be there may not be the requirements, complete functional requirements. You can go through the provided whatever the details you have, you have to plan the test accordingly. You can go through the iTeLearn forums, and if you have any queries, you can post it over there. You will get the reply within 24 to 48 hours, or a bit earlier as well. While giving the presentations, the lead, one of the member can represent as a lead from the team. Please give the equal opportunity for presenting the other members. Other members also are requested to participate actively in the session. So you please work it out on a rotation basis. So one member in one session, other member in one session, or if time permits, if all of you can participate, you can participate it. Please go through this. This complete folder will be shared to you. If you doesn't get the link of this folder, you please email to learn@iTeLearn.com. Karthik, that's it. My side. Anything to add, Karthik?
Maybe I'll take questions from the audience.
Yes.
Some of you have joined recently. Maybe Venkat, you and I can handle them.
Yeah, sure.
There was also an FAQ that was sent by Sheetal some time back. Ashna, I'll request you to send the FAQs, please, once again, because most of the questions will have answers there. A couple of questions. Venkat, can you share your email address? There's a question asked by Sandy, and
Yes.
please send it to reply all.
Yeah,
Please provide
sure.
it. Another, how do we get into the list, and when do we know if a new team will be formed? Cool. So in the very simple, once you nominate yourself and write an email to Venkat and learn@iTeLearn.com, we'll put you on the list based on your skills and your timing. Okay, then once we introduce you to the team, and then you self-starting from there on. Second is teams are something you will see that you'll keep moving from one team to the other because you're doing the same exact project. 5 to 10 people of you are sitting down doing the exact same thing, and there are 4 teams sometimes working to parallelly. So you'll see a lot of shared experiences that other teams are coming up, some new ways, new innovations, overall richer experience that way. So getting on the list is very simple. Send an email to Venkat and learn@iTeLearn.com.
I shared the email, Karthik, to all the audience.
And where did you do that? I didn't see. Oh, you put it here. There was a question in the Q&A. You should have replied there. Let me reply to Sandy there because it'll go to all that. Venkat.kasturi@workasa.com, and I'm going to do send to all. Any other questions, team? We typically meet twice a week as a group, as a team, like this webinar where you're presenting to us, but the teams interact much more frequently within themselves. So the next session may be in about 2 to 3 days. You'll get a communication back from the team over this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Venkat. Bye then. Take care, all of you. We'll see you back in the next session.
Thank you all. Thank you, Karthik.
Thanks all. Bye. Bye.